Hi, everyone. So I wanted to hop on here and share my experience on as far as filling my property up here in Vegas. So it's going to be rent by the room model, is what I do. And I had a few people actually reach out and was wondering what were um, what were the channels that I used to actually fill up my property. So first, I actually approached numerous companies trying to fill up my property. So first, first thing that I would like to mention is, I actually approached the Catholic Church. So I went to the Catholic Church. My husband was actually a part of the program back in 1999, and he was telling me about this this Catholic church that actually provided them with resources, trying to, because they were refugees. So him and his family, they came to this country as refugees, and this Catholic church actually provided them with resources, meaning housing, um, you know, uh, food, and the necessities, just basic necessities for them to actually thrive, and obviously to be able to, you know, live life here in Las Vegas. So that's one company that I approached, and it was based on rental rates, the housing rental rates in the area. So I went there, and it's decent. It's a decent place. It's a decent area. Um, and I think it was like in North Las Vegas, I believe it was. And the facility was very nice. They had donations. They had an area for volunteers, and it had heavy security as well, which I didn't understand why, but it was across from the cemetery. Yeah, they had like checkpoints and stuff, and people had to security had to stop you and ask you a few questions and all of these things. So I didn't mind that at all. I think it was just a little odd. So I went in there, and they directed me to actually the back building. So they had like numerous buildings and stuff. And I went in there, and everything was decent. The person that I wanted to speak to was not available. I left my information, and they reached out to me, and it was actually, again, based on the rental rates of the property. They do need common space. Unfortunately, my property did not have any common space at all. So they, I was completely disqualified. So it was this email chain back and forth with this representative, and he was just, I don't know. I told him that it's something that I've never done before, so obviously I needed more information, and he was just really upfront and straightforward, and even said that people want Summerlin rents, even though you're at a war zone or something like that. That was sort of around what he emailed me, which was strange because then he was actually looking for around like 750 for a 3-bed, 2-bathroom property that's 1,600 square feet. So I thought to myself, well, those were the rates back in 1999, because I verified with my husband, and that's what he said. He said those were the rates back then. That was over 20 years ago, but yet they're still wanting to pay that low for a property. And granted, my property is also in North Las Vegas, but it's not going to be that low. If anything, it would be around like $2,000 for a um, long term rents in that area. So that was unfortunate. I like the experience. I like that I went in there, and I actually I got somewhere with the Catholic Church, but that was just surprising how the rates were the same. They're willing to pay just $750 for a property, which is strange. I don't know where they could really get those rates now. So, nonetheless, that's what happened there. Next would be Zillow, Spare Room, and Furnish Finders. I actually got a few inquiries from those guys. So I listed my property on their websites, and I got a few inquiries, but nobody showed up. People were people were interested, and then I was trying to make appointments. I was trying to do open houses. I was trying to do showings, but nobody nobody showed up. So that was also disappointing. Um, Next would be Door Loop. I went through Door Loop. I went through their 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 program. I went through their onboarding. That's what I mean. And I went through their onboarding. They had their sessions. I think it was like 2 to 3 sessions. I was able to get a hold of anyone. I had my designated person to contact directly. So I think that was a good that's a good service for them to provide. I already paid for the membership. It was like $1,000 annually or something like that. And I had high hopes. I had high hopes with Doorloop, but once I went live, I just didn't know. It didn't feel like I went live on their website. Somehow I kept checking with this person whether am I live? Am I, like what's going on? It doesn't seem like there weren't any inquiries at all. I had more inquiries through Zillow than Doorloop, even though it's actually integrated with the other third party, like Hotspots and all of these other websites that apparently can fill your property up with long term, short term, and also rent by the room model, which is my model. But nothing really came from them. I was just waiting and waiting. Apparently, I would have to do my own advertising, so it seems like they're just the CRM, and they don't even do their screening. That would be a third party service. That would be a complete separate service from what they offer. There is a the credit card processing is also through them. But then that's pretty much it. I was I was surprised that it didn't really go anywhere. Unfortunately, I cannot cancel because I already paid up front for an annual membership. So I just have to write that out, and hey, if I have availability, maybe there's inquiries that's going to come from them. But so far, nothing. Next would be Section 8. So I approached Section 8. It was a website that I had to go through, and it was a little confusing, to be honest with you, how their system or their processes goes. It's just that through Section 8, I was supposed to list my property on their website, and then they'll then approve it. However, it's going to take a few months. I even approached local agencies as well, and they just gave me the runaround, pretty much. They just gave me the runaround. It was just dead ends, and nobody, returned my phone call. It was always like voicemail and emails, and it was just, it went nowhere. So I wasn't holding my breath for those guys. Next would be military. I also listed my property on the military, their preferred website, and apparently there's supposed to be an inspector that would come to the property and inspect it, but I don't know. Nobody showed up. There wasn't any communication at all. There's no confirmation that says, there's somebody scheduled, and it was going to take a few months. So I wasn't going to wait for that. And I heard that they're actually very strict about it. So, okay, that's fine. Last would be youth placement. So they have this local for-profit agency. It's kind of like St. Jude, but not as strict. They actually provide the service for the youth, the youths, the young adults that are rejected from St. Jude's. So they realized that there's quite a number of them in Las Vegas. So they actually created this company, and they've actually been um, in service for a few years now. So I approached them, and it's pretty much youth placement is what they call it. It's young adults between 18 to 21 years old, or 24, I believe, that are just being released from foster care. They are old enough to be considered, obviously, adults. They're no longer juveniles, or they're not minors per se, but they're still, starting off life. They don't have much credit. They don't have a lot of savings. They don't have job histories or anything like that. So I also approached them. I spoke with their CEO, and they were open. They were open to actually partnering, but I had to wait for a few months. And again, I didn't want to be just vacant for a few months just to wait for these individuals. They were actually wanting to charge, or to actually pay, only 600 to 700. Now, mind you, my lowest room is actually 850. So I it wasn't really going to work out. However, I'm still open to the possibility of partnering with a local service here in Las Vegas, just to place pretty much anyone, just to be able to have the opportunity to, at the same time, help someone and also partner with a local company. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It hasn't really gone anywhere. I thought it would be. I thought it would be. I felt like I was just thinking that maybe people would be lining out the door, but that wasn't the case. Maybe because it's my maybe because it's my first time doing the rent by the room model. Um, but you know what? I resorted to pad split. So I've been avoiding them. They were only going to be my last resort because of their fees. They increased their fees, and I've been following them for a year now. I know a few operators that are actually using their service, and some of them are staying put, and some of them are actually leaving the platform, because you do have an annual an annual lease with them. So it's going to be this yearly lease that you actually sign up with them, and then obviously they help you um, fill your rooms, and then they did such a great job, and they filled my rooms in a matter of weeks. So right now I'm fully occupied. There's no vacancies. um, yeah, I'm 100% occupied, and I had one turnover because the internet wasn't fast enough for her. It wasn't about the room or the location or anything of that sort, but you know, I did a few work orders here and there, so I'm still learning that, and it's not that bad. So it's not that bad. So overall, I'm very happy with the performance, and yeah, I was just hoping that maybe the other companies and the other avenues would be the way to go. But you know what? It's if it's going to be pad split, it's going to be pad split. So let me know, guys, what you think. I know that there has been a few questions about it, whether I went with door loop or other strategies. But yeah, it's definitely pad split is the way to go for the meantime. Um, I don't know, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to be occupied for quite a while. And I'll jump on here again for an update, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 3 months, to let you guys know what how it is so far. So, guys, let me know where you're at, what you guys think. If you guys have experimented with other companies as well, let me know pros and cons, and let's brainstorm together. So, guys, until next time, it's this is Victoria. I'm actually in the Vegas market. I'm doing creative deals. If you guys have anything, reach out. And if you guys have any questions, just leave it under the comments. Bye.